I've been a little down and out lately. For as long as I can remember, I've always been so worried. And for the past 2 years, it's definitely been acting up. I was also raised Buddhist. So when I was young, my parents tried to teach me through that philosophy how to deal with my worries and my anxiety. But it never seemed to really click when I was little, not for any long period of time. Partially because Buddhist philosophy, which I'll get into a little bit more later, talks a lot about our true nature of having no birth and no death. Which if you're already freaking out like I was, can kind of be a lot. So until now, Buddhism has kind of always just been on the back burner for me. I've always believed the philosophies I was raised with to be true, but I was either too afraid or unwilling to put them into practice in my day-to-day life. But then when worry and panic and depression, all that nastiness got to be a lot, I was like, all right, let me give it another shot for real, for real. I don't know if you've heard about this game from 8 years ago, but it's pretty epic. For whatever reason, I have a habit of waiting until media has completely run its course through the pop culture discourse for me to actually jump in and try it. But dude, let me tell you, this game rocks. At first though, I gotta say, kinda bored. I had never played any Zelda game or any open world game before, so every task felt like a chore. Cooking, hunting, looking for shrines, running from place to place, dealing with the weather, climbing and swimming with not enough stamina. Literally everything felt like just another barrier to completing the game. And all I wanted to do was just build up enough strength and defeat Ganon, the big bad, so that I could say to myself, okay, cool, I've played Breath of the Wild. I thought that was going to be my reward, and then that would make me happy. So I did just that, and it meant nothing. The game literally resets after you beat it. You get your congratulatory cutscene, which is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, mind you, but then you literally get put right back where you started before the fight with Ganon, the big boss. And I remember the first time that it happened, I was actually scared. All of my hard work had just been thrown away. Why'd I just spend all that time cooking, hunting, fighting, running, climbing, swimming, looking for shrines? So out of frustration, I put down the game for a little while. And about the same time, my anxiety, my panic attacks really started to get to me. Buddhism. I'm not gonna bore you with my Ziggy Science version or my westernized definition of Buddhism, but I'll explain what's been really helpful to me so far with the Buddhism grind with 3 quotes. Quote 1. The basic concern shared by all beings, humans, animals, and insects alike, is the desire to be happy and to avoid suffering. This is by a guy named Yonggi Mingyur Rinpoche. He wrote this book called The Joy of Living. I use this quote and this idea as like a ruler. Hold it up to anything or anyone that's hurt you or wronged you, anything that you're afraid of, or even yourself, and your mind starts to soften a little bit. You start to think, oh, well, they're only doing that, or I'm only doing that because I'm trying to be happy and avoid suffering. This always gets me out of my head, which when you're anxious or depressed is pretty nice. Number 2, nothing has any inherent existence of its own when you really look at it. And this absence of independent existence is what we call emptiness. This was said by Sogyal Rinpoche. This dude has had some problematic stuff come out about him, which was honestly a bummer when I was reading his book, but I think that quote still stands. So take it with a grain of salt. But back to the quote. This is me speaking to a past version of myself. If you are not ready to accept that concept, honestly, don't even try. Until about 2 months ago, the concept of emptiness would have just sent me into a spiral of nothingness and thinking that nothing exists. All these Buddhist books that I've been reading and all the people that I've been listening to say that emptiness is really only understood through experience. You can't understand it in theory. And I feel like Breath of the Wild is a great bridge to sort of understand a little bit of emptiness in a more westernized perspective or a more day-to-day real-life perspective. For example, none of the monster parts or the ingredients like the fruit and the mushrooms and the meat in Breath of the Wild hold much significance on their own. If you eat them, they give you a little bit of health. Or if you sell them, they give you a little bit of money, but nothing significant. But when you cook them, you create elixirs or food for a significant amount of health. You can sell them for a more significant amount of gems. The independent nature of all these separate little things starts to dissolve, and you start to see a more interdependent way of looking at things. I know it seems basic, but when you're really mindful of the situation and when you're really mindful of where all those things came from, I know we're still talking about a freaking video game, but it really starts to change your perspective, because now every moment in the game becomes just as important as the last. It's just as important for you to find that stupid little mushroom or to grab that monster part or whatever it is that you're getting or going towards, because you know it's going to be important for you in the future, or you know that it's something that has more value than it says right on the label. Number 3, mindfulness carries within it the energy of concentration. And with concentration, conditions are ripe for insight to manifest at any moment. This one's by this guy named Thich Nhat Hanh, who wrote a book called Fear. I would recommend that to literally any person anywhere, whether it's in Breath of the Wild or in your real freaking life. When you slow down and actually slow down, the world becomes so much brighter. When you bring your focus back to the mountain, the water, the shrine, the climbing, the running, the horse that you're riding, that is the only thing that really exists. And your expectations are no longer the thing that's driving you. You're not chasing after anything, and there's no pressure. Anger, your worries, your depression, your dissatisfaction, whatever it is, starts to dissolve. And the craziest thing for me is that this energy of mindfulness, forgive me please, is available for you at any time. And it carries within it the ultimate potential for your happiness or satisfaction. So I beat Breath of the Wild, and the payoff was underwhelming to say the least. But out of curiosity and looking for a way to hopefully calm the hell down for an hour, I went back in to explore more of Hyrule. And for me, that's when the game actually started. Because now I wasn't worried about getting strong enough to defeat Ganon and win the game. I was just with my surroundings. I was in places that I had been to a bunch of times before, but because I had this new perspective, it felt like the first time. I started to play the game way differently. I stopped sprinting. I stopped killing animals for food, and I would cook fruit and mushrooms instead. I know that's a little extreme. Just bear with me. I stopped to talk to every single villager. I would ride my horse or walk instead of fast traveling. I was just mindful. I was living in the moment, even though I know it's a game. But still, one more Thich Nhat Hanh quote. When we suppress our fearful thoughts, they continue to fester in the dark. We are driven to consume in an attempt to forget and keep those thoughts from surfacing in our conscious mind. Running away from our fear ultimately makes us suffer and makes others suffer, and our fear only grows stronger. So why did my payoff of winning Breath of the Wild mean nothing to me? Why was I so eager to end the game? I think it's because for most of my life, I've only ever been able to run from fear or discomfort. I've been conditioning myself for my whole life to consume, to chase highs, and I would never be satisfied truly. So of course, beating the game meant nothing to me because this amazing game, like life, which is why I think it's so amazing, is not set up like a race. There isn't one finish line or one plateau that once you reach it, you will no longer suffer or you'll just be happy all the time. You'll be successful. There's only right now and now and now. And getting to the point in this timeless, immaculate game where I wasn't worried about the cold, food, money, or survival, I realized something. The game didn't change at all. It was me. The game, just like life, has stayed the beautiful, joyful, expansive world that it's always been. All of that has always been there, no matter how worried I was about trying to get stronger or trying to beat it. It's me who realized that the beauty of the game and life is not winning. It's the game itself. I didn't need the money, the food, the clothes, the weapons to enjoy it. And I could have been playing like that all along. Thanks so much for watching. I know this is a bit of a different video than I usually do, but it was super fun. If you're struggling, please get some help because it gets better, baby. I'm gonna put some resources and links to things that I found helpful in the description. Keep on trucking. I'll see you in the next video.